I'm going to unbox the Fujifilm XT3 and then the Fujifilm XT3 vertical battery grip. Manuals? Why do you have manuals? Such a waste of paper. Strap NPW126S. Looks like it's the same flash that I most likely will not use. And the charger. Oh, finally. An all-in-one. This doesn't have a long cable now. XT3 battery grip. Charger for the grip. Wall charger. Awesome. The Fujifilm XT3. In this video, I'm going to compare the Fujifilm XT3 to the previous model, the Fujifilm XT2. And my opinion is, if you're in the market for a Fujifilm XT camera, and you do both video and stills, you're a hybrid shooter, then I would recommend the Fujifilm XT3, because the Fujifilm XT3 has vastly, in my opinion, vastly superior video features to the XT2. So if you're a hybrid shooter and you're looking at one of these two, get the XT3. If you only do photography and maybe just a little bit of video, but your number one priority is photography, it gets a little more tricky of which one to get. The main difference, in my opinion, between these two when it comes to photography only is the autofocus and the touchscreen. The XT3 has a touchscreen in the back. The XT2 has no touchscreen. So if you are used to having touchscreens in your cameras and you want a touchscreen in your cameras, get the XT3. When it comes to autofocus, in my opinion, when I was using the XT3 on a shoot today, I noticed that as I was shooting, it didn't feel like the focus was faster, but when I went into my computer and I looked at my images, I got more things in focus with the XT3 than I did with the XT2. It wasn't a whole lot, but using the same shooting techniques that I've used, or just my shooting style, the XT3, I noticed I got more things in focus that I wanted to get in focus than I did with the XT2. The XT3 has this advanced feature where it focuses on the eyeball, whereas the XT2 is just face. So that really helped, and I noticed a difference, not really when I was shooting, but when I looked at the images afterwards, this got more things in focus. It wasn't a ton. It wasn't enough to say the XT2 is not worth buying. So if the autofocus and that touchscreen thing, if that is not a big deal to you and you just care about the image quality because you already have good photography techniques, then the XT2 right now is a really great camera, because a really great camera for the price. Because it's under, just for the body, I believe it's under $1,000, if not around $1,000. And if you want to get it used, you can get it even cheaper. And the quality, I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference in the end photography quality from the XT2 to the XT3. Now, if you have an XT2 and you're debating whether or not to upgrade to the XT3, there's a few questions you have to ask yourself. The first question is video an important factor for me? Because the video in the XT3 is superior and you have more features, it's way more professional. Just in its own lineup, it's the best. The XT3, best video features and quality that you can get in a Fuji camera right now. Now, if you need a touch screen, that also helps with the video, because with the video, you can touch the focus, and you can't do that on the XT2. Also with video, you have the microphone port and the headphone port on the body itself, whereas the XT2, you had to get the grip if you wanted the headphone jack. You have the mic jack on the camera, but if you wanted the headphone jack, you got to buy the grip. Now, if you don't really care about video, you don't use video at all, or you barely use video, and you just care about the shooting experience, I don't know if I would upgrade to the XT3. The XT2 is a fantastic camera for stills. I love shooting with it. I love the way it looks and it operates, and I'm very used to it already. And you know, when you look at your final images, that's what really matters in the end. I would keep the XT2. I wouldn't really upgrade. Even though the autofocus has improved in the XT3, it's not improved to the point where the XT2 is obsolete. The XT2 is still a fantastic camera, so if you're on a budget and you already have an XT2 and you don't do video, stick with the XT2. Of course, for me, I'm a gearhead and I sell my organs to buy more cameras. So I bought the XT3. I don't need the XT3. I don't even shoot video on the XT3. I shoot video on my GH cameras and my Panasonic GH cameras and my Canon cameras. I only do stills on the Fuji, but I bought it anyways, so I'm missing a lot of organs. So that was my summary. Now I'll get into a few details. So starting with the body, these two dials have gotten bigger and thicker, so that way you can more easily adjust them. Whereas the XT2, the dials were so thin that, I mean, I don't have big fingers, but someone with big fingers would not be able to reach these dials. You would need a tool to do it. That's how thin and hard to reach they were. Kind of a pain. But these are still small, but easier to swap. Then what I noticed is that the shutter on the XT3 is a lot looser than the XT2. The XT2 had a pretty stiff shutter, so I knew when I was doing the half press shutter to focus, which what I like to use. Whereas the XT3, now that it goes in more, I can't quite have that tactile feel of when I'm doing half press shutter. It still works, it's fine, it's just a little different. The other things are that this is a touchscreen now, whereas this isn't a touchscreen, so that changes a lot of how to use it. And the EVF has extended just a little bit. If you can see that the EVF on the XT2 is closer to the body, so that when you have your eye to it, your nose or your face touches the screen. Now that this is a touch screen and you can also touch the focus, the EVF here is a little further out, which helps marginally. The other upgrade that it has is that the EVF adjustment to adjust your focus in there, you can pull it out and adjust it and then push it back in. The XT2 didn't have that, it just rolls. So sometimes if this was in your camera bag rolling around, it could just adjust where you didn't want it to adjust and you have to readjust it. But those are the main upgrades to me that I've noticed. I wish that this was a flip screen to this side. That was the upgrade that I really wanted, but it's not there. One of the interesting things with this flap that has the access ports to your HDMI and your two headphone audio stuff, you can have a latch here and remove this door. I thought this was great because now you have access to this. It's great for video shooters, but I noticed when I took out this part, you know, I don't want to complain because this is a great feature to have, but this is a plastic piece, not metal. And it just looks to me that if I don't lose this piece, which I probably might, I think I'm going to break this. I'm going to break where the hinges are, because the hinges that connect this door to the camera body are both plastic. And I just imagine myself breaking it off. Besides the touchscreen, it's a different sensor. The XT3 now has a 26.1 million pixel sensor, like a new trans sensor, trans 4. And the XT2 had a 24.3 million pixel with a trans 3 sensor. I don't really know the difference in the sensors when I'm looking at it. To me, they're the same. I'm just very impressed. Out of all of the feature upgrades, the only thing that I'm really going to talk about is this video mode in the XT3. The video mode is shockingly great in the XT3. In the XT2, when you went to the video menu, you had 2 pages of menu that you can change. With the upgraded firmware, you can now shoot internal F-Log 4K to the SD card. But this is what it looked like. You had 2 pages, which is really only 1 page with 1 additional feature on the second page, but it's just, yeah, I would say 1 page of movie settings, and then here's your frame rate, and these are all the frame rates you got. The bit rate for video was 100 megabits when you're shooting at 4K, and that was your only option. You were also limited to around 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, I forgot what it is with the firmware upgrade, of 4K. And if you want to shoot full HD, It's 100 megabits and you have 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know what it was now with the new firmware, but when it was first released, you had 10 minutes of 4K and 15 minutes of full HD at 100 megabits. And with 4K, you can shoot all the way up to 30p, and in HD, you can shoot all the way up to 60p. Those were your options. You can shoot F-Log, but that was still 100 megabits. That was really your only option with the XT2. Now with the XT3, you have 5 pages of video settings. 5 pages. Here's your frame rates that you can not only choose the frame rates, you can choose the quality, whether or not you shoot 4K. You can shoot the DCI 4K and regular UHD. You can choose all your frame rates. That goes from 23.98 all the way up to 60p. And you can also change your bit rate. So you can now do 50, 100, 200, and 400 megabits. You can also switch up the format. You have H.264 and H.265. And here the Fujifilm is telling you that internally it shoots 420 at 10-bit to the SD card. 420 10-bit. And if you want to use the HDMI out, you have 422 10-bit. Here you can change your compression. You have long GOP and all intra. You didn't have this option in the XT2. You also have a new film simulation mode, which is Eterna Cinema mode. The Eterna Cinema mode, I really like it. I think it's a lot better than all of the other picture profiles, with the exception of the F-Log. So you either shoot F-Log, but if you're doing a fast turnaround on a video shoot, the Eterna picture profile is very good. But boy, if you are demanding video features from Fuji, Fuji delivered. They give you so much. Here's the new battery grip for the XT3. Here's the battery grip from the XT2. I bet you're wondering, if you have a battery grip from the XT2 and you want to get the XT3, will the battery grips fit each other? Let's find out right now. Nope. Sorry, gang. The width of this XT3 is a little bit wider than the width for the battery grip of the XT2. So the XT2 battery grip will not fit on the XT3, unfortunately. You got to get the XT3 battery grip. That's a bummer because it's kind of expensive. The XT3 still, it's the same battery as the XT2. Battery life is slightly better. Fuji made a little bit more efficiency with the battery, so it's slightly better, but it's still small. You're still going to need to buy multiple batteries for your XT3. But if you have the battery grip, this is going to last you all day. So get the battery grip. It's 3 batteries and it lasts you all day. What I noticed with the battery grip, the functionality exactly the same as the XT2. That I don't notice any difference in operating it. The only difference that I noticed with the battery grips is that this battery grip has a thicker hand grip right here. The XT2's grip, if you can see the grip size, the XT3, see how there's a bigger hand section of the grip, and the XT2 is smaller. So I've been used to the XT2's grip, and to me it fits my hand perfectly. But with the XT3, now that you have a wider or longer grip part right here, I don't know, it's gonna take me a while to get used to it, because to me it's a little too big. I thought the XT2 nailed it. It was perfect. XT3, a little too big. However, if you have large hands, you're gonna really enjoy this. Or if you've never used a battery grip before and you have the XT3 and you don't know what it was like with the XT2, I don't think you're gonna care, you're gonna notice. But I noticed because I use this all the time, and the minute I put this grip on, I just noticed like, whoa, it's bigger. I don't know if I like it or not, but I'll probably get used to it. So that's my initial review of the XT3. I'm going to show some video footage of the XT3. I'm not going to shoot a lot of video with this camera, but here's some video footage right now. I am shooting 4K, 29.97p. Shutter speed is 1/60th, ISO 800. I am shooting with the 35 f2 at f2. This is the new picture profile from Fuji. This is a daylight white balance preset. Focus is on autofocus, continuous. Now this is 4K 29.97, 1/60th shutter speed, f2.0 at a 35mm focal range, ISO 800. I am shooting f-log. This is f-log right now, continuous autofocus. F-log at 200 megabits per second. The other clip was also 200 megabits per second.